Hello again, Guy from Midwinter Minis here. In this episode I'm going to show you how to speed paint the orc barricades and scrap terrain found in the Speed Freaks box game and the orc Mekboy Workshop. This whole process only takes a couple of hours, so you can have tabletop ready terrain pieces in no time. In my opinion, the model seems really nice. There's lots of details taken from the new Orc vehicle kits, as well as vents and electronics from the Rise of Ruins set. My set is from the Speed Freaks box, but you receive the same sprue in both sets, just in a different colour. First things first, we'll need to take the 6 models off the sprue. Using your clippers, cut nice and close to the sprue, with the flat edge of the blades on the side of the model. These are big chunks of plastic, so have lots of contact points to clip. Next, use your hobby knife to trim off any sprue connections that aren't flush with the model's surface. This particular set doesn't seem to have big problems with mold lines, but you can remove any obvious lines with the tip or back of the blade by just gently running it along them. To make sure the barricades stand straight and don't wobble, run the bottom edge along a file a few times. So now we've got the boring prep work out of the way, we can see what we're dealing with. The set contains one small junk pile, one medium junk pile, and one large junk pile, as well as a small barricade, a medium barricade, and a large barricade. To lay the foundation for our paint, make everything more durable, and enrich the colours we'll use, we're going to prime the models with Halfords Grey Primer. It was dark and rainy when I primed these at my back door, so I didn't film it. So, star wipe! Make sure to catch these models from the sides and from below too, as there's lots of detail to cover. Next we'll do a top-down zenithal highlight of Halfords White Plastic Primer. This will do a little bit of pre-highlighting for us, so the colours on the top will be a bit richer than those at the bottom. While I was priming these, I also noticed some little bits of sprue in the windows and door on the barricades. A little snip and fixed. Not annoying at all. We're going to add 2 vibrant colours to the models. First we'll pick out certain panels with Vallejo medium blue. I'm using an airbrush for super speed, but a paintbrush will work just as well. Just make sure you have a nice large brush and thin your paints a little before applying. We are not looking for accuracy or neatness at this stage. Just pick out some of the vehicle panels and walls that you want to be blue and paint them. Easy. Here's the set so far with just the blue. And don't paint everything, as you want to leave some things for the next colour, which will be red. Same thing as the blue, basically just thin your paints and pick out the rest of the vehicle bits and metal panels that you want to be red. And here's how it looks so far. Like a really shonky Union Jack. Now we're going to create some base layers for the silvery and bronze metallics. First we'll use Vallejo Model Air Burnt Umber to undercoat the parts we want to be bronze. Pick out whatever details you want, but if you'd like something to be silver, leave it for the moment. While I was doing this stage, I noticed another couple of sprue bits linking the girders on the large barricade. No biggie. Just snip them off, and hopefully they'll disappear into a parallel universe like this one did. Here's how everything looks so far. Next, we're going to use Vallejo Black to define all the areas we want to be silver. And of course anything we want to be black or grey, like the tyres. You can also use the black to establish any shadows in the recesses if you want. And here's what we have so far. I've intentionally left a few sections of the primer showing through just to give a bit of tonal variation to the finished model. Next up, we're going to base coat our silver parts with Citadel's lead belcher. Well, that's what I thought anyway. Let me show you something. Here's a pot of their old bolt gunmetal paint, perfect after 8 years. And here's a 2-year-old pot of lead belcher. Dried up, coagulated mess. Absolute garbage. If you're starting out, don't waste your money on Citadel paints. The current paint pots are absolutely awful, and you'll only get a couple of years out of them at best. It won't even come out if I shake it. I didn't want to waste my precious bolt gunmetal on terrain, so I mixed a glob of that lead belcher with some water and added some Vallejo aluminium to bring them back to life. Use your silver colour to paint the metal sheets, nuts, bolts, engine parts and anything else you want to be silver. Here's how it looks so far. For our final base coat, we're going to use Citadel's Gehenna's Gold. It should be obvious, but anything you'd like to be a dirty bronze colour, base coat it with this gold. Now this is the last base coat, so if you don't want something to be a dirty off-white, paint it up now. And here's how everything looks before it goes for its big bath. And here comes the fun bit. Time to dunk everything in the DIY dip wash. In my next video, I'll teach you how to make this versatile dip wash and show you some ways you can use it, so make sure to subscribe so you don't miss out. If you simply can't wait, Citadel's Agrax Earthshade or Army Painter Strongtone will work just fine. Dip each model into the wash, and use a big brush to make sure the wash gets into all the recesses. Once you're happy you've got good coverage, use a large, dry brush to absorb the excess wash from the big panels and flat surface, and wick away any wash that's pooling too much. Once you're done, set the models on something they won't stick to and wait for them to dry. I let these models dry overnight, and as you can see, they're really starting to look the part. The wash has dulled down the vibrant colours and brought everything together tonally. Metallics and painted panels look genuinely dirty, like a Warzone scrap pile should. If you wanted to, you could call it a day here. A quick evening's work, drying overnight, and ready to game the next day. If you've got a bit more patience, there are a few easy things we can do to quickly add some more detail and punch to the paint job. First, we'll use Citadel Lothern Blue to make the blue panels more vibrant and highlight some raised detail. Using a large dry brush, grab a bit of paint and start to work it into a piece of kitchen paper until barely any blue comes off the brush. Now start wiping your brush back and forth across the blue areas, making sure to catch the edges. You can also make circular motions on any large flat areas to enhance the colour. Pay a little attention and try not to catch red, black, silver or bronze areas with the blue. And here's what the whole set looks like after the little blue touch-up. Now we'll do the same for the red areas using Vallejo Orange Fire. Follow the same process we just did for the blue, but focus on the red areas of the model. Nice and easy, and pretty effective. Following the pattern, we're now going to highlight the black areas with Citadel's Mechanicus Standard Grey. We'll use this colour to give the tyres a bit of tonal variation and highlight. Hit some tyres more than others to make them seem more or less worn. This is also a good way to cover up any spots where you've accidentally hit the tyres with silver or gold from the previous steps. Here's what it looks like after the grey dry brush. Next, we're going to use Vallejo Charred Brown to fix up any areas where the colours have spilled over into the wrong area. For example, you can see where I've gone way over into the blue area while painting these guns. No problem. Use a standard brush to apply the brown along the edge of the panel line. When it dries, it'll look like dirt build-up rather than a sloppy speed paint job. Look around each model and find parts you'd like to tidy up. Slap a bit of brown on it, job done. Easy. Sorted. We'll also run some brown paint into the recesses of the metal sheets. Make sure you get it right in, and use your finger to wipe away the excess paint on the surface to make it look brighter than the recesses. And here's what the whole set looks like now we've tidied things up with the brown. I also used this brown to paint the light bulb cable on the large barricade. Next, we'll create metal chipping and damage effects using Vallejo Aluminium. Get some paint on your palette, and using a bit of packing or kitchen sponge, dab the paint. Now start gently tapping the sponge against the models. Try to imagine where things would have hit the metal parts and chipped the paint or scratched away the dirt. Don't go overboard, go bit by bit, and stay well away from the tyres. Make sure to hit the bronze areas too. Highlighting with gold won't work as well, so just use the silver. And here's what we have so far. Looking good. Let's do a couple of final bits just to add some lighter focus areas. Using Citadel's Screaming Skull, we'll block in the parts we want to be off-white. I thinned the paint a little, and I'm going to add it to the orc symbol and the light bulbs. Take your time and just gently trace the edges and fill in the gaps. Don't worry if the paint runs off the edges, we'll fix this later. This particular paint is really delicate and will definitely need 2 thin coats. Once that's dried, we'll add some thinned white to highlight these parts. I'm using Vallejo white, but you can obviously use any white acrylic you like. Paint the bottom of the bulbs and leave the top third so that the Screaming Skull shows through. I also traced a couple of the edges on the orc symbol and left it to dry. And next we'll tidy things up using a bit of Citadel Agrax Earthshade. Paint the recesses of the orc symbol and all the nuts and bolts that hold it in place. once this is dry, I think we can actually call it a day. Overall, I'm pretty satisfied with this paint job. In the space of 2 evenings, we've got 6 fairly detailed terrain pieces painted up to a nice tabletop standard. If you wanted to spend a bit more time, you could obviously do some more vibrant edge highlighting, as well as picking out the metallic spikes and panels on the tyres. Batch painting like this really saves you a huge amount of time too. I definitely recommend doing all 6 pieces at the same time. The sculpts are really nice too. Compliments where they're due, Games Workshop put out some really great models, and they're actually pretty affordable by their standards. The paint pots are terrible, but their models are great. Let me know what you think in the comments. If you have any suggestions, I'd love to hear them. And while I've got you here, check out some of these awesome paint jobs from Rick Painting Models. He followed my speed painting sandstone Necrons tutorial, and to be honest, I think he did a better job than me. They look awesome. Also, in a weird coincidence, he also collects Guardians of the Covenant Space Marines, which is the same chapter I collect. What are the chances? Anyway, I hope you've enjoyed this video. Bye for now.